What if I told you that Einstein didn't become a genius by memorizing hundreds of formulas? He learned physics in a completely different way. And here's the surprising part. You can learn the same way. No genius IQ required. Just a better way of thinking. Today I'll show you 10 powerful habits Einstein used that can completely change the way you learn physics forever. By the end of this video, you'll stop treating physics like a list of equations and start seeing it as a connected story about how the universe works. Let's begin with the biggest mistake almost every physics student makes. Most students believe success comes from memorizing equations as quickly as possible. Einstein believed the opposite. He cared much more about understanding why an equation existed than remembering its symbols. That single difference separates students who forget everything after exams from those who truly understand physics. Habit number 1 is simple. Always understand the why before the formula. Take Newton's famous equation. Force equals mass times acceleration. Most students memorize it, solve a few questions, and immediately move to the next chapter. Einstein would stop and ask a much deeper question. What exactly is force? Why does acceleration happen? What actually causes an object to speed up? What would happen if force didn't exist at all? Could anything ever move differently? Questions like these build something far more valuable than memory. They build understanding. Every time you learn a new equation, ask yourself where it came from instead of trying to memorize it immediately. Ask why the equation is true and what assumptions make it work. Then imagine what would happen if the equation suddenly stopped being true. That simple habit trains your brain to think like a physicist instead of a memorizer. Habit number 2 is the technique that made Einstein famous. Thought experiments. As a teenager, Einstein imagined chasing a beam of light through space. That simple question eventually helped change modern physics forever. You don't need an expensive laboratory to think like Einstein. You only need your imagination. Instead of accepting facts, imagine different possibilities and explore what would happen. Let's use gravity as an example. Instead of memorizing that objects fall because of gravity, start asking better questions. What if Earth suddenly had no gravity? What would happen to you, the oceans, and everything around you? Now imagine gravity becoming twice as strong. Every movement would suddenly become much harder. What if gravity disappeared for only 1 second? Even that tiny moment would create complete chaos. Questions like these force your brain to explore the consequences instead of simply memorizing the rule. The more you imagine different situations, the more natural physics begins to feel. Habit number 3 is learning from first principles. Einstein never accepted an idea just because someone said it was true. He wanted to understand the foundation first. He always asked, what are the most fundamental truths that everything else is built upon? Let's take electricity as an example. You don't need to memorize dozens of equations on day 1. Instead, begin with one simple fact. Electric charges exist. Opposite charges attract each other. Like charges push each other away. Moving electric charges create magnetic fields. Once you understand these basic ideas, many advanced concepts suddenly become much easier. Instead of isolated facts, everything starts fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Habit number 4 is connecting everything you learn. Most students see physics as separate chapters that never interact with one another. Einstein saw something completely different. He saw one connected system. Motion leads to force. Force leads to energy. Energy connects to momentum. Momentum opens the door to relativity. Every new topic becomes easier when you already know how it connects to the previous one. Whenever you finish a chapter, don't close the book immediately. Ask yourself one powerful question. How does this connect to everything I've already learned? Those connections become shortcuts your brain can use forever. Next, we'll look at one of the fastest ways to master physics without memorizing every detail. Habit number 5 is surprisingly simple. If you can't explain it simply, you probably don't understand it deeply enough. Real understanding isn't measured by how many equations you know. It's measured by how clearly you can explain the idea. Imagine you're teaching a 10-year-old. Could they understand your explanation? If your explanation becomes confusing, that's not failure. It's simply showing you where your understanding needs work. Teaching is one of the fastest ways to discover what you truly know and what you still need to learn. Even if no one is around, teach an imaginary student. Your brain won't know the difference. Habit number 6 is learning through better questions. Most students ask, what's the answer? Einstein asked, why? He also asked, how does this work? Because understanding the process is more valuable than memorizing the result. Then came his favorite kind of question. What if? What if light moved slower? What if time behaved differently? What if the impossible became possible? Questions like these unlock creativity, and creativity is one of the greatest tools in science. Curiosity transforms learning from a boring task into an exciting adventure. Habit number 7 is visualizing everything. Einstein often imagined physical events before writing a single equation. He turned physics into a movie inside his mind. Let's imagine throwing a ball into the air. Watch the ball rise. Slow down, stop for a brief moment, then fall back toward Earth. Notice that gravity is pulling on the ball during the entire journey, not just when it starts falling. Once you can clearly picture the motion, the equations become much easier to understand. Visualization turns abstract ideas into experiences your brain can remember. Instead of memorizing symbols, start imagining motion, energy, forces, and light. Your imagination is one of the most powerful learning tools you'll ever have. And the best part is that it's completely free. You can practice it anywhere. Now let's look at why mathematics became one of Einstein's greatest tools for understanding the universe. Habit number 8 is learning mathematics as the language of physics. Equations don't hide the truth, they describe it. Many students see math as an obstacle. Einstein saw it as a powerful language that explained how the universe behaves. The stronger your math foundation becomes, the easier physics begins to make sense. Start with algebra. Learn how to rearrange equations quickly and confidently. Then strengthen your understanding of trigonometry because angles and motion appear everywhere in physics. After that, learn vectors. They help describe direction as well as magnitude. Finally, calculus allows you to describe change itself, making it one of the most important tools in advanced physics. Don't rush to memorize every equation. Build your mathematical thinking one step at a time. Once mathematics becomes familiar, physics starts feeling less like memorization and more like solving interesting puzzles. Habit number 9 is something most students completely ignore. Spend time thinking. After studying for about 30 minutes, close your book instead of opening another chapter. Ask yourself, what did I actually learn today? Can you explain the idea from memory without looking at your notes? Can you predict what would happen if one condition changed? Reflection helps your brain organize information into long-term understanding. Habit number 10 is solving fewer problems, but solving them deeply. Don't race through hundreds of questions just to say you finished them. Instead, ask why this solution works and whether another approach is possible. Challenge yourself to solve problems without immediately looking for the formula. The more deeply you understand one problem, the easier hundreds of similar problems become. This is exactly how Einstein approached learning. He searched for understanding before speed. When you stop memorizing and start asking why, physics begins to feel logical instead of difficult. Curiosity, imagination, visualization, and deep thinking can completely transform the way you learn. Remember, your goal isn't to become the next Einstein. Your goal is to learn the way Einstein learned. If you found this video helpful, don't keep these ideas to yourself. Hit the like button, subscribe for more videos on learning smarter, share this video with someone studying physics, and leave a comment below. Which Einstein habit are you going to try first? I'd love to hear your answer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.